places. I thought I would try and put the camera over there, but because this lighting is exactly in the center, it's like ideal for both directions of which the camera is facing. I really enjoyed the elaboration last time, and I think I'm going to do more things like that going forward. It's Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. I believe astrologically, I've been trying to keep up every day that we just got done with some opposition of the planets. Well, Vesta went retrograde, but earlier this week we had some opposition. Virgo versus Pisces, and Mercury and Neptune. Today, which was the one I was kind of talking about last time, we got a 5-month retrograde that just started today, and it's going to give you the opportunity to face some of your fears and get rid of what's not working. We're going to have Mercury enter Libra tomorrow. So that could be kind of interesting for that diplomatic combo. It's both friendly and charming. But it's not really a great day to make important decisions. Gotta brush up on our negotiation skills, according to astrology.com. So I've been doing my first deck, and then last time I actually did some runes and Biddy Tarot, and today I think I'm going to do some of my fan art, and we're gonna do this candle won't light, candlelight, and then there's this very nice Tibetan incense, my friend. I'm using it. If you're watching this, I'm using it. It smells good. Might sage a little bit too, just for the heck of it, because why the heck not? Saging is can be very important, just for resetting. Like washing your linens, or I don't know. Now you're gonna see my elbow for 2 seconds, and you guys my hand. Okay. Look at that. A little cauldron. King. We'll have that in the background. And again, hope you're having a good, Wednesday. Coffee stains? Much? No judgment. I'm learning in my program right now that you can notice when you're judging without judging the judgment. Notice that you're judging without judging the judgment. Know what you could do differently. Woo! Whoosh. I gotta do a little bit of that. Because this guy goes through the most. I will wear this necklace like every day possible. And every time I lose it, I kind of lose my mind because I'm just like, this is what I need. It's too easy to fall into this pattern of like feeling exhausted and going to like a negative place. And when we're actually able to sit down and really think about it and separate the judgments from the facts, the path becomes more clear anyway. But that's it for the sage for now. Now, Haven't really shown you this. These are manuscript form. So they're technically cardstock with tape on them. I could have just said nothing and that would have been it, right? You would have been like, I don't even notice. Guess I want to know, what are some important things that I gotta know for today? What are some important messages out in the world that you're trying to send me? Will I receive this message? Zoo? It was really a lot of fun making this deck because I've always been a super fan of Supernatural. I think that the characters are so well developed for such a whatever TV show. Just the fact that, they're fighting to save their family almost in every episode. I think it's amazing. The theme. But also, it's it's bizarre the way that they take the folklore and modernize it to the day-to-day stuff to make it relatable. I think it's just layers. And also, I'm sure there's biases in that too. But nonetheless, for this moment in time, you can see how much I love this show. All right. First one, I got the Six of Pentacles, who I picked Victor Rogers, which I believe it's later in the seasons. You don't see him, I don't think, in the earlier one, although the actor does cameo as a wraith in an early episode, but then comes back as this former hunter who is creating a safe home for these kids that have had a tragic backstory and have learned to hunt, much like Sam and Dean, the main characters of the story. And as a result, at least at the beginning of that episode, it appears to be a very generous role model that's trying to look out and help them be the best hunters so that they don't continue to lose people that they care about. Energy. Strike of energy disbursement. Now, like with the original deck, I think of the Six of Pentacles as like not quite the Nine of Pentacles, where it's like you're just like, oh, you've worked so hard and now you are, sharing that splendor, enjoying it yourself. But in this one, it's the act of, there's enough for the both of us. So it's like the disbursement of energy, being able to exchange that energy. This is a lavender flower. I'm just twirling it. But I do think it's an important thing to remember, because it's like when we are giving out or being generous with that energy and letting it flow, then it comes back in different ways. And so in like the same way I was talking about, I think yesterday, about being our own well of abundance, we have to also be like our own rooted tree. And the tree is already grown to a certain point, and now you can harvest the fruit. What will you do with the fruit? Probably share it with your buddies who came over and said, "Wow, look at this fruit tree." Next card we have is shoot, the High Priestess. Oh, you see my the top of my head in one of those cameras. It was kind of funny. The High Priestess Mary. Mary is Sam and Dean's mother, who is talked about throughout the story, but they lost her in a house fire, which they learned later was Azazel. Um, and I won't say any more than that for spoiler alerts if you're just getting started with the series. But it's basically the first episode. They give a little backstory on that. And I chose the High Priestess for Mary because the High Priestess to me is about innocence and the vision of intuition. And like I was saying in a previous video, if you look at the story in itself of the tarot, you start out with the Fool at 0. The Fool is walking along. There's like a dog behind him. He's got like his kit and caboodle. He's, nomadic, hopping from place to place. And wherever he sets his foot down, hopefully he'll land. And then that Fool ends up coming into interacting with the magician. The magician is like a sorcerer. They have lots of potions, and they are like, let's consult the High Priestess for further information. And that's where we come back to Mary. You have to, and often in the series specifically, Dean, sometimes Sam, often reference nostalgic mode, their love for their mother and what the things that they wish they could have expressed but were unable to because of the tragic backstory. But I also wanted to emphasize that there was opportunities for them to later reconcile in the strange, because there was also time travel, which I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of the genre of time travel. I find it to be, I don't know, maybe it's like my feelings about nostalgia is just, it's fine to look at something and have a fond memory that brings you something, but also I've seen the other interaction of like I've also seen it on the other act of, like, we're talking about I got on a tangent because I was talking about how because of time travel they were able to reconcile with the past version of their mom, who was like someone they consoled and regularly talked to in that story. And in the same way, like, the High Priestess is someone who has studied and researched while also worked on their intuition and use that as a tool to guide into making logical decisions. Then we finally are going to leave with the Five of Pentacles reversed, which I chose the shapeshifter because it is a time of anxiety, which doesn't always necessarily communicate it doesn't necessarily communicate what the stability is going to look like, because the focus is often in the future, trying to plan in the future and considering fleeting insecurities. So in the reverse position, I kind of perceive that to be we are moving out of that, and we are most likely going to shift into another version of ourselves, or use a tool to consider who we would like to be based on who we admire, based on what we do. And in that same way, Olivia, the shapeshifter in the story, is a very small role, but they show up because they were like half human, half shapeshifter, and they basically were trying to be heard, but they were locked away most of their life, so they were not able to communicate or even interact really with their mother. And I feel like that again goes back into that was a portraying like a well-off family, and they had her come out as a maid, so she was playing a role in order to be a part of the facade, but not in the way that she actually was. So I guess when it comes to, organizing your finances and thinking ahead in the future, if we're scattered or focused on our insecurities, then we will miss out on the opportunity to use our vision of intuition. And as a result, we won't be able to be as generous with the strike of disbursement, energy disbursement, I should say. So that's something to consider, I guess, when I'm considering if something. That's something to think about again. I have this 50-50 feeling about I know what the answer is. But sometimes it doesn't make it any easier to try to answer it, to try to address it, or to try to receive the message. I'm just noticing I was pressing on this for a long time. And that's all I have to say for now. But I hope you enjoyed that interpretation from my supernatural deck. It's mostly aesthetically right on, and someday it'll be, not tape and cardstock, but actual form of cards that you might enjoy. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.